Landing sequence.
So welcome to Occupy Mars, the game. while I'm doing this and recording at the same time, wow. So this is done differently. I'm doing a voiceover because I've been getting carried away watching Yellowstone on my iPad while I was playing the game and recording. But of doing that, obviously, I'm picking up the audio from the iPad. So I thought, no, let's I'll have to do a voiceover and then put all the best scenes in. So. Survival space game. Survive and colonize Mars in a highly technical open world sandbox game. Build and upgrade your base, discover new regions, conduct mining operations, retrieve water, generate oxygen, grow crops, and fix broken parts. Right at the bat, I was quite intrigued with this game. I've seen it come up a few times. I didn't bother with the demo, and eventually, because of the Steam Build Food Festival, whatever they want to call it. So I thought, well, look, I'm going to have a look at their Kickstarter and see what it's about. And I went for the one package up, which wasn't about £17. That's under my voice because it's in dollars on their thing. So it only cost. Well, it's only going to cost me that much from the package I've gone for. Anyway, so apart from that, so Pyramid Games are the creators of this, and they also created Dinosaur Fossils, whatever what it's called now. It's going to bug me now. Dinosaur Fossil Hunter. That's the other one they've got created currently. Now, straight off the bat, one thing I did notice with Occupy Mars, it very much reminded me of a game that ended up on a very big hold called Lacuna Passage. Which is not too bad. That was alright, but that was a lot trickier, I think. Although this is trickier, but doable if you know what you're doing. So when this video here, it took me about 2 tries because I realised I was building things wrong from the tutorial. There's items that you get, those boxes you saw at the start of this video, there's some preset things there already, so you can just place them and they'll be built instantly. Whereas I made a bit of a mess up because when I first started, I was building it from scratch. She was telling me to build these things, and I was like, well, I've got the materials, let's just build it. No, there's some there right there. You can just place those. That would have been fine. Right. So apart from that, now graphically, it's not. I'll say the graphics ain't that bad. It ain't horrible, but it ain't. I wouldn't say it ain't the best thing in the world. But you can imagine if they put it through like Unreal Engine or something like that, that would be like, oh my god, or whatever everything they do. But to be fair, I don't mind it. It's doable for me. It's not an eye strain compared to some of the other games I've played, where they made these big games, but they like mobile phone type engine versions or something like that. And it's like what? So apart from that, I generally felt like I was on Mars playing this. I was doing these parts here, like these cabling, putting the power sources in. I quite enjoy that. It's sad, but it's actually quite fun. Actually having to, power management, move things around, putting the cables in the right spot. But you might not notice, but I've made a cock up here. I should have built a battery pack or something like that, because what I would have done is connected it to that and then connected the battery to the building, because I think during night time, once the sun's gone down, once the solar panels weren't getting any power, everything shuts off. So I was like, I made a bit of a boo-boo on this. So, but that's what I got to do. I'll be restarting again and another playthrough. So apart from that thing, and then realised with the airlocks, I nearly made a few mistakes in injuring my character. So as you build along, you'll once you get your work, it's like a main workshop where you can use as your kind of main hab. But it looks like there's other attachable mods. Once you get the materials together and build it, you'll be able to extend on your bases. But yeah, so like your general survival type idea of games, you'll be building certain technologies, which I'm still kind of learning to do because I've not quite gone down that route properly. Especially when you're using your vehicle. So it looks like when you're going out there, you will be mining rocks and certain things, and they'll have certain materials, minerals, whatever you want to call it, in there that you'll be able to use. So you'll break around these rocks apart, and then there'll be these certain coloured pieces that you can pick up using the crane on the rover. Now, one thing I did with the hab is before I travelled out anywhere, was to make sure I put this in, connect the water pipe together. So the piping thing is quite amusing, really. With the same as the electric, how you just attach it to the building. do love the fact that they've actually gone out this way to make it. Actually, I probably should have built my thing near the base. Actually, I wouldn't have had a massive long cable all the way that way. Looking at that, I realised I should have. I don't think I built the. I think I can build an oxygen thing on this. That's probably another thing I should have done, but I didn't. Because now I'm thinking about it, and now looking back at this, I thought to myself, "Hang on a minute." So next time around, I'll start that again. What else we got here? Yes. So anyway, back to the the rover. That was quite fun to mess about with. I do love the fact that you can be on the external view, but also sitting. Just something about sitting in the cockpit and driving the vehicle. I was still getting used to some of the buttons and that, so I kept pushing wrong buttons in certain times and places. They've got a bit of a different control setup. Nothing too bad, but obviously if you play a lot of different kind of games, you can't help yourself. But you think, no, not pressing that button. Why am I keep pressing that? But yeah, I do like the idea of what's in the rover. I've not built there's a quad I think you can build at some point, like a quad bike. What else would I see on there at the moment? From what I can remember, I'm waiting for the footage to tick over because I'm doing this at the same time. I saw the night time. That was quite funny. Once it goes dark, and that just seeing that light was like, what's going on over there? But I'm assuming it's either whatever in the background, the sun or something. Just the way it shines through. Saying that night time was quite dark and scary. Gets a bit all like ooh. I've got a flashlight, but now I realise what I've done with the power thing. I've got to try that on the base. Might actually light up a bit more. Although I did find when you go out there, you can find old bases. So when you go out there, you can salvage those pieces, and then you'll be able to reuse those and probably make your own. I think from the looks of it, it tells you what you collect. So you use your little saw thing you've got, break things down, collect all the pieces. To be fair, it collects the pieces automatically, so you ain't having to pick it all up. So when you come back over, you can then potentially build those items into new ones, I guess. Oh, this is where I injured myself and damaged the helmet, I think.
Pressure drop detected.
Yeah, so yeah, don't do that. Luckily, the helmet it wasn't fully broken, but it's obviously cracked. There are some helmet repair kits you can make, and I haven't quite got that far yet because I'm still trying to. I'm still learning. So as I like it, driving along, and you automatically can see some sort of old shelters and buildings, like not far from where you are at the start. So it's nice to be able to drive over there in the rover, get to where you need to. So I thought I'll go around, check them out, so you can get into them, explore. Some of this one I think usually I go into is actually empty, but there are other ones I do go to, and they actually got things inside them. But I'm assuming for this one you could probably just break it apart and then take all the materials for it. And that's a good thing about this vehicle here as well, is you've got a thing where you can only hold so much on your character, and I think also weight is part of it as well. It's a bit of a thing that contributes. And I realised I've got a jetpack in the back of that. Well, back in my inventory, and I didn't realise it was there. Now, the funny part was when I was doing this bit, when I was getting in there, I was like getting that kind of almost like alien vibes going on. So I thought to myself, because as far as I know, I've not done a massive deep dive into a lot of what else is in this at the moment. No creatures or aliens, as far as I know. If he's going by the realistic approach to survive, maybe occupying Mars, but there are other dangers out there. There'll be times where the surface end up getting radiated. I haven't seen the storms yet, but that's in there somewhere. And so, but going through those corridors and all that stuff, look at that recipe, especially made me think of the thing. Of okay, let's hope it's safe in there, because I didn't know what to expect. So after I did that, I decided to take the rover across and check out and see how this. Well, I wanted to try the crane and see how it worked out and see what I had to do. So when you were in the starting pod, you had these different tools already, like the drill, the saw. There's a blowtorch. Obviously, blowtorch where you put to welding together. So a bit of a probably space engineers sort of not homage. That's the word I'm thinking of. I'll think of it later. But yeah, so use a drill. As you're breaking it apart, you might see some chunks in there that are basically got some colour in it, and those ones are the ones that you're going to collect using the crane. So yeah, so basically you collect the rocks. Once you pick them up, you put them in the back, and it's kind of got that farming sim sort of related sort of cool thing where you just drop it in there and it'll all like sort of level out. I didn't even go back with a full load. But I just did this rock just to test things out and see how it goes, get an idea. Which I should have done quite a bit of it really, because then I could have started building a lot more things, I guess. So I drove back, and that's when you have to drive back to a certain small rock crusher, and then you'll drop it into there. But that took me a bit to realise where I was supposed to do to get that. But I figured it out. Eventually got there, and then dropped the stuff off. So yes, once you had to just get it over to the right sort of spot, and they'll give you a sign for an unloading zone, and that's when you have to go into the internal view and then use the panel in there. It took me ages to figure out what I was supposed to do, or where's this button? And then I flipped the seat around. There you go. Stop unloading zone. There we go. And then I took my next journey. And I saw the other side, opposite side of my base, was I could see a big dome looking like remnant of an old base or something like that. So I thought, well, I'm going to go over there and grab what I can, I guess, see what was there. And that's why I wanted to try out and figure out about using the saw and seeing what I would collect from it. So as soon as you rock up there, got out, and then I saw there was like old solar panels, old like big lamp posts, I'm going to call it. And so it's sort of the same process like you did with the drilling, but this time you use a saw, and obviously you're scrapping stuff up. And if you just get the details, sometimes you've got to crouch down, but so like on here you can see the electronics were growing up, pack of screws. So completely just very, very Space Engineers in a way. But obviously they're not using that kind of voxel approach, so it's still different. So I'm going to say one thing I should have done, which would probably help if you decide to jump down this route on this game and project. So I couldn't quite build any storage units inside my HAP at the time, but there seems to be a lot of space obviously on the rover. So I would suggest any tools you've got that you're not using, or you take from the pod that you drop down in, probably stick it into the vehicle. Try and keep a lot of space in your backpack as much as possible, because half the time there'll be things you keep dropping on the floor, or it's because you've got too much and you can't contain it. So what you want to do is know what you're building, what you're about to do next, or something like that, and what you're not using, then just leave it in the rover to collect. So I think because no matter where you're going to go, you're not going to exactly go far without the rover. So yeah. Try and get some sort of storage. Once you can start building storage and you can leave certain tools back at the base, you go ahead and do it. Now around here I did find one piece of equipment. This peppers, basically it's a seed. I still had a bit of a struggle with the food creation, but there is a unit I built where you can put your plant life into it, and it was obviously things started to wither, but there was I've still got to figure out how to use that. So anyway, after I finished off, I didn't grab everything here again because I didn't really consider like emptying my pockets out of my character wise and put it into the rover and just grab as much as I could. Plus I was on working life and everything else. I was trying to get as much footage as I can up in the exploration and that lot before taking a proper deep dive and actually like do a live recording while I'm playing, like I do with most of my other videos. So anyway, I got back to base. When I got back here though, because I knew I had that jetpack, I wanted to test that out. After I built this solar panel and then connect that to the little pod, so I thought just in case, you never know. So yes, this machine here is where you do for your food. Growing the plants as well, because these are obviously making peppers, but it looks like once you do that you just shoot the things into there, so once it goes red it's obviously been planted. The plants are withering. I'm guessing it's got to be something I didn't put in there or something I didn't do in that HAB. Maybe I haven't got the water going through, or something's not happening. I haven't quite figured that out. Then it took me a bit to just learn the controls, but the controls are on the top right there for the jetpack as well as other stuff. So whatever you're using, it tends to show on that top. And I kept putting it away because, again, pressing the wrong buttons. And I realised I think it was holding shift while I was thinking, here we go. I started off alright. I thought, ooh, a bit close to the ground there. But yeah, I thought, okay, I can handle this. But I assumed that I had to sort of make sure I balance myself out when I come to land. As a test, as you can see, what you're about to see, I didn't land very well. Which made it more fun, because when I realised when I crashed that bad, that you could see that actually that jetpack is now in pieces. Literally. So I assume that maybe, I don't know if you break it apart, maybe you can build a new one. I'm guessing so, because it's still the same materials are there. So we guess it hurts. And that was another helmet I damaged. Because I found a spare helmet inside the Rover. And then, so just getting near the end of this part of this video, shall we say. But basically, as I got up on the next day, and I realised, well, I didn't realise until I got outside that basically, I don't know if it's, I'm guessing it's a radiation storm. I thought it was, oh look, it's an aurora, it's a really nice colourful day outside, or something like that, and then I realised I'm actually getting damaged. There you go, it was a high radiation warning. I was like, oh, okay, what's going on there? So I took a lot of the damage from that, but because I knew a lot of mess ups I've made, and obviously, like I say, it's early days for me because I'm still learning to play it. Yes, my character didn't quite make it. But apart from that, so once you die, you restart mission and it'll restart it exactly. To be fair, when I landed the pod, I didn't get out of the thing to see if the stuff's still built or it's actually generally a full restart. But yeah, so from my little time of experience of playing it so far, which is about three and a half hours prior to this video, yeah, I'm quite, yeah, I'm liking it. They're different, so I'm looking forward to seeing more and more being developed and added. There will be well, throughout the list of what we've got at the moment for the stuff that they're doing for the stages, if I can find that list I saw the other day, they're pretty much getting closer to, what's the mile, I've forgotten what they had some goals that they had. I can't remember where I saw it now, but it looks like they are planning on a multiplayer, so that's something that will be a part of it, which will be a good thing, I reckon, because there's obviously more seats in there for you to be on with your mates. So I'll be keeping on top of this and seeing what happens. So fingers crossed that this gets a bit more further and further. So I'm going to say tip top. I think I'll enjoy playing it a bit more.